So today we're going to talk about the Texas Rangers, not the Texas Rangers, the baseball team. That's probably the one you've heard about the most, but the Texas Rangers, the police force. So the purpose of the Texas Rangers was to protect citizens from outlaws and raiding Native American tribes. That was the stated purpose from the beginning of the um, Texas Rangers. They were actually originally created by Stephen F. Austin in 1823. Mostly it was meant to protect from Native American attacks. Now, you can't really blame the Native Americans for attacking because the colonists were coming in and infringing on their land. And, they weren't always very nice to the Native Americans, but that was what the Texas Rangers were created for. The name Texas Rangers comes from something that Stephen F. Austin wrote in 1923. He wrote that he wanted these men, I believe he originally asked for 10, to act as rangers for the common defense. So anything that might bother the colonist or, um, an outlaw who might steal something, they were to defend in those instances. They had many names at the time, but Texas Rangers was the one that stuck. Originally, if you wanted to be a Texas Ranger, you had to have your own supplies. You had to have your own horse, a rifle, a pistol, a knife, rope, boots, and a hat. And you would get paid $1.25 each day. That was the deal if you were a Texas Ranger. Rangers came from many different places. There were Native American Texas Rangers. There were Texas Rangers who had come from Mexico. However, there were no Texas Rangers who were women until 1972, and the first African Americans were not selected to be Texas Rangers until the 1980s. Samuel Colt actually was not from Texas, and it seems kind of unlikely to talk about him when you talk about the Texas Rangers, but part of the Texas Ranger reputation comes from this man. He invented the revolver. Remember, we've talked about before how guns, for the majority of history, only shot one time before they had to be reloaded. Samuel Colt changed that with the invention of the revolver. His first revolver, the Colt Patterson, wasn't super reliable. It was hard to load. It sometimes would just explode if you put too much powder in it. But the Texas Rangers really liked them because it really helped them with fighting the Native Americans. Because a Native American could fire several, maybe 12 to 14 arrows before a gun could be reloaded. So a gun that could fire more than one time was a big advantage. So the Texas Rangers were big fans of the Colt revolver. This man, Jack Hayes, also used a revolver, and he's actually kind of famous because he did use the Colt Patterson revolver. He actually became a Texas Ranger under Deaf Smith. When Deaf Smith was a Texas Ranger, you might remember him from burning Vince's Bridge in the Texas Revolution. He had an Apache Indian friend who worked with him, and he called Hayes brave too much, which I think was just kind of meant that he did things that maybe he shouldn't do. He took a lot of risks, and he's famous for two battles against the Comanche Indians, one in Enchanted Rock and one in a place called Walker Creek. In both of those instances, the Colt Patterson really helped give him the advantage in those battles against the Native Americans. The other Samuel Walker, was at this battle at Walker Creek with Jack Hayes, and he knew how helpful the revolvers were. So he actually went to Samuel Colt and gave him some ideas on things he could do to improve his gun. So the new revolver was called the Walker Colt. And those guns really helped to make the Texas Rangers the kind of gave them the reputation for being really good fighters. Of course, they were often very tough, but those revolvers really gave them an advantage. Now, today you're going to have the opportunity to learn about some Texas Rangers on your own. And this is one of my favorite ones. His name is Bill McDonald, and he was a famous captain of the Texas Rangers. He was once a bodyguard of President Theodore Roosevelt. And he is credited for saying "one riot, one ranger," which is a famous Texas Ranger saying. It used to be actually on a billboard in Waco. You could see it near the Texas Ranger Museum. He really didn't say that exactly, but it got credited to him because of a book that was written about him. And but the thing I think he should be famous for is his what he's kind of lived by, his creed. He said, "No man in the wrong can stand up against a fella that's in the right and keeps on coming." And I think that just means that good wins when good keeps fighting. And that became a creed of the Texas Rangers, and it's actually on Bill McDonald's gravestone. He's my favorite of the Texas Rangers. Today, the Texas Rangers are an elite force that serves under the Department of Public Safety. They're called in to help solve difficult cases. So they're still a force today. This is just, I took this from the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame website. You can just see how the badges have changed over the years and how I think this is maybe from I don't remember when this is from, but this is at least from more present day age, that badge. I do want you to know that I got my sources from these places, and we're going to specifically look at this website. So I'm going to take you there. So if you would like, this is not a must do. This is something you should aspire to do if you have time. Is to pick one of the Texas Rangers from the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame and research them. You're going to add their picture to a slideshow similar to ours, and I'll post that in Google Classroom. But you're going to create a slide with their name and their picture, and then you're just going to put some important facts about them there, and we'll share those together in Google Classroom on a slideshow. So remember, those are here. There's all the choices down the side, and if you click on them, it'll show you their picture, and you can read about them here as well. I cannot wait to see what you learn and share because I do not know about all of these guys, and I'm interested to see what you guys learn.